Welcome back to Remodeling Reinvented. I'm your host, Caitlin Copley, joined as always by my amazing producer, Diana Voelker. Today, we're kicking off summer with a hot topic, especially here in San Diego, and that's outdoor living. Joining us today is Gabriel Sepulveda, Senior Interior Designer at Jackson Design Remodeling, who you may remember from our Design Trends episode. Gabe has designed a wide range of outdoor living spaces and has created everything from coastal retreats with panoramic views to private backyard sanctuaries focused on wellness, entertaining, and indoor-outdoor living. Today, we'll be talking about the latest outdoor living trends, growing micro resort movement, where to spend and where to save, and practical ideas for creating an outdoor space you'll enjoy all summer long. Hope you enjoy the episode. Gabe, welcome to Remodeling Reinvented.
Welcome, Gabe.
Good morning. It's nice to be back. Thank you for having me here again.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we love having you. So, Gabe, to start us off, talk to us about outdoor living and what does that really mean to people these days? I know it's not really just a patio anymore.
I would say in general, and especially for this Southern California climate that we live in, it's just a deep connection to the outdoors. We have such a nice climate in this part of the country, and a lot of our clients just want to have that connection with the exterior, with the outdoors, especially post-pandemic.
Hmm.
A lot of the clients spend a lot of time in their homes and they just are yearning for having that connection to the outdoor and grow and expand their footprint.
Yeah.
So we see that a lot these days, just that deep connection to the outdoors and do more about having that access to the outdoors.
And we've heard this term micro resort a lot lately, that it's become a trend. Talk to us about what homeowners are requesting lately and where that trend kind of fits into you as a designer.
I can give you a best example right now. We have this client that is having a 200 square foot addition, and all what they want is add a new master suite or primary suite, but also having a gym, having a spa, having they're having Pilates equipment. They're gonna have a infrared sauna inside,
Wow.
a hot tub just outside the bedroom.
Yeah.
So for them, it's just having this feeling that they want to have the luxury of possibly a resort, but within their own homes. And for some people, just means like to have a couple of the things that they will have if they go to a resort style. So meaning maybe a pool, or maybe just layers of different things to do, fire pits, outdoor fireplaces, pergolas. It's just sort of layering your outdoor space to make you feel like you have everything that you need within your own backyard. I feel like that's the concept for some of our clients. It's just having an extension,
Yeah.
and just feel like you're going somewhere else within your own.
Like a staycation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yes, yes,
Love myself a
A
little
good
staycation.
staycation.
yes.
So there's different ways you can do that. Talk to us about that. So it's no longer just barbecue
Yeah.
area. Talk to us a little bit about some of these outdoor kitchens, or you even mentioned when we spoke previously how people can like zone out different
Mhm.
areas.
Yeah, yeah, that's what we're seeing. It's not only just a simple barbecue. Now we're transforming the concept to more like an outdoor kitchen. And not only in the appliances that we have in them, but just on the look. There's many companies out there right now that simulate the look of real wood, or maybe a more modern look. Also materials that are suitable for the outdoors
Mm,
and can withstand the elements. So it's just having that kitchen just on the outside
yeah.
and then being able to enjoy it. And also sort of layering, like we talked a minute ago, clients want also integrate spas, for example, like hot tubs, something that is just more than a hot tub. They want to include lighting, they want to include, layering the tub where it's just a little bit bigger than a tub, but not quite like a pool. So right now we have a client that is actually doing that for different reasons. But I feel that that's just some of the elements. And
Yeah.
again, it's just layering the outdoor in sort of zones. In the past, it could look a little bit too playful. Hey, I
Okay.
got a mini golf section here. But now it's a little bit more curated, I will say. And to be honest with you, a lot of the clients that we have in lately are people that are in well in their 40s or 50s or even 60s, and they just want to transform their backyard into something else, something more, like I said before, more curated and more elegant and more sophisticated.
So it really has become an extension of their home
Definitely.
versus just, "Oh, that's my backyard that nobody ever goes out to."
Yes.
S
Yes, definitely. I
so,
mean,
yeah, people are spending more time out there, would you
yes.
say?
Yes. It's about a lifestyle. And I like I said before, I think I've seen a transformation after the pandemic when people spend a lot of time in their homes. And then they realized that perhaps they were not well designed for you to spend a lot of time,
Mhm.
especially in the outdoors. So now we're seeing people that want to create what we call the California rooms, this cover patios or these flexible rooms that have some pergolas that are more contemporary that can open and close. So just including some of those things.
So someone could have a outdoor dining space in one area, and then you could have fire pit over in
Exactly.
the corner, and
Exactly.
then your cold plunge tub somewhere
Yes.
else,
And
and
then
then
people that want to also be more on the wellness side, different elements could actually also be incorporated.
yeah, speaking of wellness, what are some of those you mentioned a couple of them, but what are some of those wellness
I will say some of the elements will be a hot tub. Right now, we're working with outdoor saunas, infrared outdoor saunas. And then that connection of having either a public room or maybe their primary bedroom to be connected directly to these spaces.
okay.
It also includes just having, again, like this couple that we are working on right now, having an outdoor deck, open deck that gives them the flexibility for her to do Pilates outside. But
Okay.
also, we also have a space for those rowing machines and things like that on the inside of the addition. So that direct connection, where they feel like they can go from our infrared sauna to the inside of the house with ease, I will say.
So making things a lot more functional.
Functional and more
Yeah.
accessible, yes.
The same way you would plan an interior space.
Definitely.
You
Yeah.
approach it
Yeah.
similarly. And just from seeing and experiencing your designs, you're a big lighting fan, layered lighting. How does that come into play when you're trying to create this outdoor atmosphere and mood if people are spending their whole days there and into the evening?
I think it's a very important element that the average client may not think about. They may just think about that you want to position some spotlights by some landscaping, but actually that's just further than the truth. The truth right now is that we incorporate lighting in the architecture. When we're doing pathways, for example, we're embedding lighting up lights in that concrete pathway, for example. If we're doing benches, it's a way of incorporating perhaps some linear LED lighting to kind of give you a little bit more dramatic look. And it's the same way that we layer the kitchen, for example. We have ambient lighting, task lighting, architectural lighting. I think those things have been transferred to
Yeah.
the outdoors. Again, before it used to be very simple, maybe some spotlights around some landscaping, but right now it's totally different. We light the home. We also curate the spaces and we include a lot of LED linear lighting, by benches or by plants, for example. Even something as simple as a wall with a water feature, for example. And also when we come to lighting, sometimes people want to do like gas fixtures that have some sort of flame. That's something that is a little bit more the dramatic side and usually happens to accentuate either a focal point or maybe a water feature.
That
That's
almost has like a Hawaii feel to
the other
it.
tropical, yeah, more
Yeah,
tropical look.
tropical.
Yes, so that's in the more dramatic cases, but it's there.
Wow, so it's not just I'm sure it's not just like a tiki torch.
Yeah, freezing
It's more
gas.
I'm
architectural.
imagining see, this is where it goes with that micro resort, though. I'm having White Lotus season 1
Yeah.
flashback. So, wow, that's really interesting. I haven't heard
It's
of
very
that.
traumatic, and we had that job that it was featuring a KBB
Mm,
recently, and it was just like a patio cover. But in that structure alone, we have a fireplace. We have architectural panels on top of the fireplace with the back LED. We had the recess light on the structure itself. We have the skylight. We have pendants by the kitchen. So now we have 3 or 4 different ways to light up the space and
right.
create some sort of drama and sort of layering where you look in a structure and it just sort of looks very rich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. What are some things you think makes an outdoor space feel more inviting?
I will say that it's just about personalize, not really create a space just to create one, or maybe for resale value. It's just sort of personalize the space into your immediate needs. I
Mhm.
would say the best thing that we could do is just sort of layer in the space and plan for the future.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what I would like to have my outdoor dining, my outdoor sit-in, fire pit. And it would be nice to have different, the same way that we have different tasks that we perform within the home, like watching TV, like dining, like cooking, and also resting and sleeping. I would say the same way we can create this space for the outside. And the best thing to do is just like plan.
Okay.
You don't have to do it all. If you can afford to do it all, then just have a master plan and then decide, okay, this is what I'm going to accomplish this year. I'm going to do this maybe deck,
Yeah.
and I'm going to, or maybe I can just wire for the lighting or do the hardscape and create these zones. So to me, that's just the best way. It's just sort of plan and plan for yourself and the needs that you have.
So you can do it in
You can do it in
phases.
phases.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I usually will insist to start with the hardscape, the landscape, and the lighting. And then little by little, you can incorporate the deck or more the serious planting like trees, and then come up with later this sort of zones like having benches or custom concrete benches, for example, or your outdoor kitchen.
Yeah.
So I would say the best thing is just plan for it.
What upgrades do you believe offer the biggest impact in those spaces, the outdoor spaces?
I would say that because of where we live, I would say that people probably think that pools are the upgrade that they should go with. But in my case, and with most of my clients, I would say is a series of elements that will sort of fill the backyard and also fill the necessities of the wishes that you have, meaning an outdoor kitchen, a
Mhm.
space where you can dine on the outside, a space where you can share memories or sip your coffee in the
Lounge.
morning,
Mhm.
lounging, sip your coffee in the morning or your wine or glass in the afternoon. So I will say that layering, I can tell you right now, for example, that maybe like a 10 by 10 hot top spa looking, a kitchen, a small kitchen and a small deck with some dining, some lighting could be the same price range as a pool. So then you
Mhm.
have to tell the client, what do you really want? I would say that when the clients are more in adult stages or their kids or the kids have left the home, they're going to choose that other path, which is going with those 2 or 3 different elements that will help you enjoy, the backyard, the patio, and just enjoy the outdoors, especially in the weather that we are right now.
What are some common things that you see in these backyards in Southern California that maybe doesn't necessarily go with the way people live today? Maybe the home was remodeled a while ago and the spaces are used in a slightly different way. What are some things that you have noticed?
The thing that we have noticed is that not planning. If they were there before and for some reason, like big example, they put a pool. Now they
Mhm.
realize later in life, 15 years later, that it's just on the way, or it's just too big, or it doesn't
Mhm.
fit the lifestyle anymore. So I would say the biggest mistake is just poor planning, or when they're going to buy a house, they really don't think about the backyard. They just maybe look at the interior
Yeah.
and then they realize that that's some problem. Right now, what we encounter as a challenge when we are working with the outdoors is when people have these large pools too close to the house, then you cannot put a
No, it's
deck.
so
And we encounter that in a couple of situations where we have to close it down and relocate them or just make it smaller. Is it a lap pool or again like a big hot tub kind of concept? But and again, in the past, people would just put a pool and that was it.
Mhm.
Now,
Mhm.
again, we're talking about dining,
Mhm.
cooking, sitting down, enjoying an afternoon or maybe breakfast on the weekends.
Yeah.
And just we have more than a dozen that when they renovate sometimes your kitchen sort of spills into the outside.
Yeah.
And we have encountered where we have to like to work around existing architecture or existing pool, for example, and see, hey, where can we put all these elements? But to me, that's the biggest mistake, not planning. And we have these older homes that have pools in it, and it just seems to be in the way.
And so we have the 4th of July holiday coming up.
Yeah.
So
Party.
if you're hosting a party, what are some things you would focus on if you're lucky enough to have an outdoor space?
I mean, I would say to me, I mean, the 4th of July is always has been about being with friends and family. So it's in more intimate setting. You're there to celebrate, but also to gather. It's a holiday weekend, and sometimes people come from other places to visit and to enjoy. So I would just say having activities. So you're going to come with kids. So obviously, entertainment is a big plus. Having outdoor games, having set up an area where you can have some outdoor games, a TV, if you're lucky to have a TV somewhere. If not, maybe a projection TV or something like that. And if you're lucky enough to have a barbecue, obviously,
Yeah.
transfer all of that to the outside. And I would just say, just be festive.
Yeah, spend time outdoors,
Yes.
especially we're
In that
lucky
weather.
enough to have the nice weather here. I know you lived on the East Coast, which things are a little bit different back there.
I mean, I live
Yeah.
in New York City, and the outdoor was just the parks, and we would just go out there and by the time the 4th of July comes in, it's hot
Yeah.
in New York
Yeah.
City, and you only have maybe the month of late April, May, and June, and then after that, it's hot.
That's
Yeah.
when you have to get an invite to the Hamptons,
And so,
Gabe.
Right.
yeah, some of the clients, some of the clients, but that's another thing. Going back to I was looking at working a couple of projects in different capacities as a junior designer, where especially I'm remembering right now one particular client, and it was in Connecticut. It was
Mhm.
in Greenwich, and how important the outside was. And we went as far as curating and looking for that outdoor furniture, plates, colorful schemes, yeah, plants, shades, way to shades the spaces. And you will not believe how much money was spent because it meant something.
Yeah,
And these people put that stuff away for the winter months and they just bring it back out. And it means a lot for the couple of months that they can use it.
they don't take
And
it for granted.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely. Yes.
Yeah. We talked about outdoor living being an extension, a true extension of the home. When someone is working with a designer, does the architectural department take into account the style of the home when they're trying to perhaps build a patio cover to go with it, or maybe they're doing the hardscape? How does the architectural design come into play when you're
Um,
working with clients?
yes. I mean, I would say definitely about the architecture, the type of architecture, and the willingness of the client to go beyond, above and beyond. We have clients that are just content to just having maybe a more modern structure. And then we have a couple of clients that have that structure and clad it with beams and try to make it to fit the architectural, cover it with concrete tiles. But when you look at it, it's just a modern structure, but it's just the architecture is just around that element.
Mm,
It's just meant to fit the outdoors. And sometimes as an interior designers, we try to pair with them and say, hey, I believe that we need these elements or these colors or these textures to be added, to be integrated,
mm,
these elements. I have been lucky, comes sometimes we have a fireplace that needs to be covered in a different way. Sometimes it's mortar, sometimes it's stone, sometimes it's deco tile. Depends what the home is. We have one that we work on Mission Hills, and it was the architecture, the structure, and then the tile covering the fireplace and the materials and even the style of the faucets that sort of goes along with maybe the old world architecture.
And then, you talked a little bit about how there's different style homes or maybe even their location will make a difference. So, talk to us about that. Like, if somebody has a really stunning ocean view and how you approach that project versus somebody who is maybe in Mission Hills area and maybe wants a more private space.
Yeah, I mean, that also depends where the space is located. If you're talking about a shade structure like a pergola or like an outdoor elements unit, for example, and the materials. If you're Mission Hills, then you probably treat it differently. The colors, the textures are different, opposed to being in Ocean Beach. And just the use of elements, I will say that for the most part, we tend to go a little bit more modern,
Mhm.
uh, with the exception of when we go with, we're in Ranch Santa Fe or if we are Mission Hills, then it's a more traditional architecture and materials, but it reflects to everything, the appliances, the hardware, the lighting.
And just creating those spaces that it creates a sanctuary for that person. Like you mentioned that when you were living in Ocean Beach, you had a small
Mhm.
balcony, but you
Yeah.
loved going out there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could have put an outdoor fire pit in that balcony, I would have. Although I did have a lantern powered by ethanol for a little bit. It was like a lantern
Lantern.
and it had a little bit of ethanol. So that would be my equivalent of having that effect. But I would say that's a actually good point. Like in Ocean Beach, it's just about the views and it's just about enjoying the water and the views of the sea.
Mhm.
And then probably more inland will be just about the scenery, the canyon views, or maybe even just the landscapes. You don't worry about that when you're close to the water. You just want those water views. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at homes and the water is just way over there. It's still about that kind of feeling that
Yeah.
somewhere out there you have some sort of water
You
view.
know it's there.
So exactly. So you try to, as a designer, emphasize its best features.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about the indoor and outdoor. There's a lot of indoor, outdoor living, and it's almost become one and the same. Have you seen a lot of these bifold doors or pocket doors that open up to the outside? Have you seen a lot more of
I would
that?
say that yes, if we can afford it, that's really what the client wants. They want this connection from the inside to the outside. And when we're remodeling, I mean, I can tell you right now that that's what we're trying to do as much as we can, as much as the architecture can afford it. And sometimes we modify the spaces, and it's really popular that corner look where we have a space that maybe was added on one side. Maybe the house was just straight in the back, and we added this wing. And sometimes, like right now, I have a couple of projects that is that corner effect of having pocket doors in both directions, and then you open them up, and then it's suddenly you have this open corner, and you have views of the house from different spots, and it just looks richer, wider, and then you can sort of enjoy your home and also integrate the outdoor to the indoors. That we having more. That's why it's trying to level the floors, for example, build up a deck or concrete pavers to be closer to the same height and having that door system to be almost like invisible, the
Seamless.
seamless,
Yeah.
recess on the floor or recess on the ceiling.
Wow.
So yes, that's floating effect.
And if they can't, maybe it's not in their budget, would you add some French doors and windows or
Windows and the
windows?
French doors. And also depends on the style of the doors.
Mhm.
The more traditional doors may have thicker frames and things like that, but now the minimalistic look on the doors is something that is really popular right now, and it doesn't really matter what kind of architecture you have.
Yeah.
You went from having the Studio 4-inch thick frames on the doors. Right now, it's just like inch and a half, and the more glass that you can have, the better. So right now, that is something that has been translated. That it doesn't really matter the architecture. Everybody wants to see as much as they can to the outside.
So let's dive into some outdoor trends. Talk to us about some outdoor trends you're seeing? Like I've heard this term nature drenching.
Okay.
Oh,
Have you heard of that?
yeah.
Um,
It's almost
it's
like
kind of
color
new to
drenching.
me, but what I think it means is probably so for the interior, like color drenches is used the same color everywhere. Indoors, windows, trim, baseboard moldings. I use it many times, depends on the client and depends on the architecture of the home. But it's just different sheens, for example. So flat for the ceilings, semi-gloss maybe for the doors. And I believe that for the outside, it's just sort of like populating the outdoor with a lot of things, I believe. Hey,
Plants.
yes, plants, a fire pit here, hot tub here, dining room here. It's just sort of like layering the outdoor space. But I believe that is another way of calling like layering your outdoor and just to suit your lifestyle, or at least your current lifestyle.
Yeah. Have you seen any trends in maybe either privacy solutions or screens? Like automated screens seem
Oh, yeah, that's a
hot
big
right
it
now.
is. That's a big
Yes. So a lot of these near outdoor structures that we are using freestanding or connected to the house and try the architecture of the home to be wrapped around them. People are integrating shades that can come down and it sort of make the space more usable, especially when you have those west facing rooms.
Mhm.
You know the sun is going to be brutal, especially in the 4 or 5 months
Yeah.
that we have of strong summers here. So it's just a way to shade the space and what we're seeing right now. Also, just in some cases we cannot even afford going with this sort of like pergolas, modern pergolas, but people will just incorporate those shell shades and just a different way of protecting themselves from
From the
The
from
sun.
the sun.
sun, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something I think people think about a lot more these days. And speaking of wellness, are you seeing a lot more wellness focused features? You mentioned some earlier, but if you want to to us about that.
Definitely. I think clients want the option of exercising outdoors. For some could be, hey, how can I open the outdoors or exercising instead of going to my garage and having a
Yeah.
bills there?
Uh-huh.
So how can I open my outdoors and my patio for exercising? And for some clients, it's having the space, the lighting, the music, or even the shade of doing like yoga and Pilates outside. So
Yeah.
right now, I have a couple of situations where we providing those spaces for these clients.
Wow. And I've even seen some of those cold plunge
Yes.
tubs outside for
Oh,
people who
yeah.
are highly into fitness. So, would you say some of these manufacturers have transformed it where it's more accessible for homeowners,
Yeah.
like saunas, and
Yes. Yes.
so they've come out with more products than they used to?
Yeah. I mean, the cold plunge before was probably a barrel, like
A barrel.
a used old refrigerator. But now these days are very curated products that keep temperature. So now you don't have to worry about getting back ice anymore. So
Yeah.
they just keep the temperature like that. And it's definitely has transferred because in the last probably half a decade, it's been going on the gyms. Like they
Mhm.
have those in gyms right now. So now the clients want that at their houses.
Yeah.
So it's not any like, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, it was just like a barrel outside and you were gonna put some cold water and ice, a couple times a week. But no, now you have those appliances for the exterior.
Yeah.
And it's becoming part of people that are, I would say maybe a younger generation, but not
Mhm.
necessarily, but they're very into fitness.
I know when the Union Tribune interviewed you, you talked about how people are requesting the drinking fountains at home.
Oh, yes. Again, right now I have one of those.
Yeah,
And now, like,
and people can refill their
exactly,
waters.
exactly. Right
Yeah.
now, we recommended one from a manufacturer that I never seen before until a couple months ago. And it's one that goes embedded in the wall. Like, if you take a twice the size, one of those specials that you have in your refrigerator
Yeah.
Mhm.
and twice as big, and that's what you have embedded in the wall in between studs.
Oh,
So you just
wow.
have to provide the water and electricity, and that's it.
Wow.
Oh,
So that's how advanced I would say, and how seamless and well designed those units have come. Years ago, it was just a water fountain.
Mhm.
I don't know, 8 years ago was one of those multi-purpose water fountains that will have a that for you to refill the bottle. And now it just
sparklets.
looks like a big water and ice dispenser that you will have on your
Wow.
refrigerator, but it's actually on the wall.
Yes,
So,
water.
and you touched on this earlier, but, you mentioned TVs. So I feel like you've worked on some projects lately where that's become a big focus outside. Maybe they're big sports
Yes.
fans. What are some of those solutions? Do they have outdoor TVs?
Yeah, they do have outdoor TVs, and sometimes the limitations could be the placement. You
Mhm.
still need to protect them. I mean, it's not like there could be rain,
Yeah.
really
Or
exposed
even
to wrong
hot,
elements,
like to get hot.
but they're encased and to be able to withstand the outdoors
Elements. Yeah.
elements. But right now, for example, I will say that almost in every case we have it to be on the outside. I would not say 100%, but maybe three or
Wow.
four times.
Wow.
And it could be as easy as just again a TV on a wall feature, maybe on top of an outdoor fireplace,
Yeah.
or to being roll out shades that either come down from a structure and you use it as a TV screen.
Yeah,
They
like a
just like a
Yeah. Outdoor
projection, or they
theater.
just come out of the ground as a projection screen, and then you just project to that.
I saw that one time at a photo shoot at a client's house, and they had one side of their pergola that was a projection, and so they could be in the swimming pool and watch
And watch
a
that.
movie
Yeah.
and with their kids, and I thought that was the
That is
coolest
so
thing.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe lighting and depends how bright, it's outside, but still in the afternoon, you can project something in the late hours in the afternoon and you can still have that experience. But yeah, I mean, because again, we are taking those afternoons through a whole summer or these holidays, and it's like a whole day event.
Mhm.
And yes, so we have a TV there.
So before we get into the quick fire round, anything else you wanna talk about that's related?
I see some magnificent outdoor yards, and I'm thinking this could be so beautiful.
Mhm.
It's so nice, and you have so much potential. And then I wish they would take an advantage of that. The most that many people would do just maybe a covered patio or maybe a hot tub, but there's so much potential out there for a lot of these properties. And it's an investment. I mean, sometimes it's
Mhm.
in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in your patio and your outdoor, but just the benefits and just how rich your life, and up to a certain point, it does increase the value of your home. If you
Mhm.
do something well planned, well designed, well landscaped, it is going to increase the value of your home.
Yeah.
So I just wish people would look at the exterior and just take more advantage of that beyond just a barbecue or
Yeah. Well, and from a homeowner's perspective and wellness perspective, just being outside and in nature, it's so healing when you're around, even just hearing the birds and if you have a water feature and just the plants, and like you said, you were on your balcony in Ocean Beach, and you could probably imagine or see the surfers out there, and
oh, yes,
you could just
feel the
spend
warmth.
time.
The
And
air.
so we encourage everyone to see what they can do, even if it's something small. So, Diana, you want to take us into the
Yeah.
quick fire round?
Are you ready, Gabe?
Maybe.
So, what do you think? Morning coffee outside or evening wine outside?
Well, I'm a evening wine
Mm,
outside kind of
mm,
person.
mm.
Feel like if you have a day that has just taken the life out of you, it's nice to recharge in the afternoon and just have a charcuterie if you have someone special or a special occasion. Or just sit outside and have a drink or even have your dinner outside. It's a
Yes.
very romantic. How many days, if you're going on a date, can you imagine where would you rather be? You'd rather be somewhere outdoors, enjoying the nature and having a nice dinner
Intimate.
outdoors. Yes,
Al
exactly.
fresco.
Al
Yes.
fresco. That's a
And
good.
I also feel like when it's in the afternoon, your day has passed and you're not rushing to go and to get anywhere, to just
Yeah.
enjoy the night.
What's the most overrated outdoor feature?
For me,
Yeah.
a pool.
A
I'm sorry.
pool.
Yeah, and I'm from the tropics, so maybe, it's nice if it's hot, just but I feel like you can achieve so much with a smaller water
Smaller.
element, like a spa, for example, like a
Yeah.
hot tub. And again, it doesn't have to be hot. But I've been in Palm Springs where the hot tub's the size of this room, and I mean it's just enough. But you can imagine what you can do with the budget of a pool. You
Yeah.
can have a
Right.
nice hot tub, you can have a nice outdoor kitchen, and maybe a deck with where you can have some dinner and or a fire or feature or a waterfall feature. It's just
Yeah.
the amount of money that you invest on a pool.
So you
Yeah.
can balance it out a little bit.
Exactly. Like
Get
if
used
a
more.
pool, it averages $200,000, and imagine what you can do with $200,000. So to me, that would be a pool. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. Works for me. What is one outdoor trend that's here to stay?
I would say the dining experience outside and the layering of spaces outside. It's not enough just to have a barbecue or a outdoor dining room. It's just more than that.
Mhm.
I would say just gathering outside,
Mhm.
below a tree, a sitting area, like sip that wine, for example,
Mm.
or that beer or drink. I would say, yeah, I think people want to enjoy and this again, especially in this area of the country.
Yeah.
The climate. Well, Gabe, thank you so much for joining us.
Dave, you're super
No,
smart.
no, I am very happy of sitting down with you girls and then just talking about design and talking
Yeah.
about the outdoors. I mean, I live in many places. I mean, I live in Miami, and to be honest with you,
Mm.
I wasn't really that impressed. But it's because Miami felt like an extension of Puerto Rico
Mm.
in a sense. I live in the South and I live in New York City, and I found this part of the country so fascinating just because of the landscape. And
Yeah.
just because we can drive in an hour and a half and be in the desert or being in the snow in a couple
Yeah,
hours.
that's true.
And there's no reason why we can enjoy this magnificent weather that we have.
I agree
Yes.
wholeheartedly.
No
Exactly.
argument here.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you, Gabe.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. Whether you're dreaming of a complete backyard transformation or simply looking for a few ideas to enjoy your outdoor space this summer, we hope today's episode has inspired you to think about your home in a new way. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow us, leave a review, and share Remodeling Reinvented with a friend. Thanks for listening.